Well, the Gillard carbon tax is under attack from groups using the internet to rally opposition. Some of them have links to the Liberal Party, but others are not aligned with any political organisation. There's even talk of an American Tea Party-style people's revolt against the tax. The Macquarie Radio Network's 2GB has become the mouthpiece for the campaign and is actively promoting an anti-carbon tax rally in Canberra later this month. John Stewart and Alison McClymont produced this report.
The fact that we were told at the last election that Julia Gillard as Prime Minister would not allow that to happen, and then she turns around and says, no, sorry, we will be having a carbon dioxide tax, and here's my mate Bob Brown.
The campaign to stop Labor's carbon tax is running hot at Macquarie Radio's 2GB, with host Chris Smith urging listeners to join an anti-tax rally in Canberra this month.
What's the chance of us actually storming Parliament House in a democratic way and overthrowing the government of both houses?
No. Since the Prime Minister announced the carbon tax, the anti-tax movement has mushroomed online, with new websites and Facebook pages urging people to sign petitions and join the fight.
And if you can get to the rally, great. Jacques has indicated that he's setting up a series of buses in various capital cities. You can go to the website and work out...
A group called the Consumers and Taxpayers Association is organising the rally and says that over 1,000 protesters from New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria have already pledged to take part.
We're at 28,000 hits on our website. The phone hasn't stopped ringing off the wall, quite frankly. This issue has caused a lot of irate dissent among the Australian voting public, and we're here to support that cause and see that the government gets the message.
I know it's a complete pain.
Members of the Consumers and Taxpayers Association were first mobilised during protests against the Labor government's home insulation scheme. The president of the group says they are not aligned with any party and says they're a genuine people's revolution, like the Tea Party movement in the United States.
We are in a sense, but not just about taxes. This is about more than that. This is the erosion of our democratic rights. Now, if that means in the future that we become a legitimate political party, so be it.
The anti-carbon tax rally is also being promoted on websites with direct links to the Liberal Party, like Menzies House, a website which promotes conservative political activism. Menzies House has been organising an online petition against the tax and set up a website called stopgillardscarbontax.com.
From what I can tell, it sort of shot up spontaneously from the conversation between various people who are angry about the lie about the carbon tax and angry about the policy of the carbon tax, and people just chatting to each other started suggesting that we start having protests.
The Menzies House website claims to be independent of the Liberal Party, but Liberal Senator Cory Bernardi is a former director of a company called Dallin Corp, which registered the Menzies House domain name, and his wife is the current director of the company. The Menzies House editor says that Senator Bernardi is not using the website to drive the anti-carbon tax campaign.
Well, Menzies House it's not formally linked to anything else except Menzies House. There are people involved with Menzies House that are involved with the Liberal Party, but there's no formal relation. I know Cory, I like Cory, and it's great that he's involved with this as well, but we see things from a slightly different perspective, but we agree that we need to stop the carbon tax.
In a statement to Lateline Tonight, Senator Bernardi said,
I provided the initial funding over a year ago for the initial establishment of Menzies House, and this included the domain name registration and web hosting. I have no involvement with the management of Menzies House.
2GB host Chris Smith denies that the anti-carbon tax rally has been pushed by the Liberal Party.
He is a member of the community who's trying to put together a rally. He's had some support from listeners of my program and some support from newspaper readers, but beyond that, this is an individual's organisation of a rally, and his organisation only. It's not a Liberal Party-driven thing.
The group organising the rally, the Consumers and Taxpayers Association, says it's not a Liberal Party front.
We have had no assistance from the Liberal Party at all. We've sent invitations to both sides of the House. to speak at this rally. Of course, Julia Gillard is not in the country at the moment, so I don't presume to know whether she will be there or not. I believe we may have Tony Abbott and Greg Hunt there.
Most of the websites promoting the anti-carbon tax rally in Canberra also contain links to climate change skeptics. There are skeptics t-shirts and caps for sale. The online activist group Get Up is planning to stage counter-demonstrations.
What they're calling for is driven by climate denialism. They do not believe in the basic science of global warming. They're anti-progress. But if you look on their websites, they're also anti-Islam. They're anti-refugees. These are people who fundamentally don't support Australia moving forward.
His entire band of thugs are all communists.
Chris Smith says that comparisons between the anti-carbon tax campaigners and the American Tea Party are misleading.
It was a very politically driven event, and it was also being run and organised by media groups like Fox, etc. I think this is a lot different. This is actually, as it is, what you see is what you get.
This is tantamount to eroding democracy. It's eroding our democratic right to vote and have a say. This is a voting issue.
The protest movement has 2 weeks to marshal its forces and make sure the Canberra protest is not a fizzer. John Stewart, Late Line.